A thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again, you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle.
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure, there's always room for one more.
You remember that last time we left Boris and Natasha confronted by the sinister shadow of Mr. Big himself, while Rocky and Bullwinkle were plummeting down a mine shaft followed closely by an enormous boulder. But our story really opens today in a quiet Washington office where Captain Peter Peachfuzz, head of G2, is speaking to his secretary.
Get me the file on Mount Flatten.
Yes, sir.
Wait! Aren't you forgetting, Miss Glum? Those are secret files! Close your eyes.
Then how can I see what file I'm getting?
Don't you use the touch system?
Well, I'll try. Let's see. It should be this drawer back about,
You're peeking.
Well, I'll just never find the information.
Then how do I know what's going on?
Don't you ever watch the Rocky show?
Say, there's an idea.
And the captain turned on a nearby set just in time to hear... You remember the last time we left Boris and Natasha confronted by the sinister shadow of Mr. Big himself, while Rocky and Bullwinkle are plummeting down a mine shaft followed closely by an enormous boulder. But our story really opens today in a quiet office in Washington where...
Oh, who cares? I've got to get out there.
And in just a moment, Captain Peachfuzz was in a fast plane and headed straight for the North Pole. Meanwhile, what about Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Yeah, what about us?
Bullwinkle, this is the longest mine shaft I ever fell down.
Yeah, we ought to be through the whole mountain by now.
Well, that mighty moose's intellect had done it again, for that mine shaft did go all the way through the mountain, and at that moment the platform shot out the underside of Mount Flatten and into thin air, followed, of course, by the huge boulder.
I'll try to swing us out from under it, Bullwinkle.
The plucky squirrel zoomed down from the platform, and then as it passed him, pushed it out from under the boulder. In another instant, the platform reached the end of the rope and dangled far beneath the floating mountain, while the huge boulder continued on clear to the ground, where it shattered into 16 tons of instant gravel.
We better get back up the rope, Bullwinkle.
Can't we rest here for just a minute?
But Mojave Max and Death Valley Dottie will be worried about us.
Well, that was true enough, for Max and Dottie, alias Boris and Natasha, were at that moment trying to explain things to that criminal mastermind, Mr. Big.
You are accusing me of double dealing? What kind schnook you take me for?
I give up bad enough. What kind?
Just fun-loving schnook, Mr. Big, sir, boss, old superior.
You are making joke?
Sure, you don't really think I double-cross my own dear commanding officer, leader, director, Pasha?
Yes.
Very droll.
Where are Moose and Squirrel?
By now they should be at bottom of mine shaft.
Oh, you miserable idiot. This is a floating mountain.
You mean?
Yes, the mine shafts go all the way through.
Sure enough, when Boris looked down the shaft, he saw our heroes dangling far below.
Oh, bad enough. You have goofed.
Only temporarily, Mr. Big.
And opening his coat, Boris began to hunt for his favorite mine shaft rope snippers. But even as Rocky and Bullwinkle started their long climb up the rope, they were faced with still another danger.
Bullwinkle, look there!
It's just an airplane, Rock. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, but it's headed right for us.
Now that's something to worry about.
Well, there's danger above and danger below for our boys. Don't miss our next episode, Double Trouble or The Moose Hangs High.
And now it's time for...
Time for the dancing fool, Bullwinkle.
Again? And now for one of our special fairy tales.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs.
That's capital P-I-double-G-S.
Yes, of course. These 3 little pigs, Portland, Penelope, and Alice, were sisters who lived together in a cunning little house, or they did for a while anyway.
Is this the pig residence?
Capital P-I-double-G, pig?
That's it, lady.
Yes, it is.
Got a singing telegram for you. Put on the skillet, put on the lid. Your rich uncle just wound up dead.
What?
That ain't all, I tell you true. He left $1 million to you.
Oh, great.
And all the little piggies got moolah, moolah. All the little piggies got moolah now. Collect.
Yes, the pig sisters were now rich beyond their wildest dreams, and the first thing they decided to do was...
Move out of this cunning little house.
So, in a very short time, as these things go, each of the 3 girls had built a mansion of her own. Portland's was of straw, Penelope's was of sticks, and Alice's of solid brick. Of course, the news of their fortune spread far and wide and finally reached the ears of one Henry Q. Wolfe. Now, there was just one thing that Henry Q. Wolfe wanted in life.
I want to live in a big mansion, and this looks just like my chance.
That was it. Of course, Henry would never think of getting a job and working to get rich.
Ooh, perish forbid.
So he planned to marry one of the pig sisters and get rich for free. Oh, he was a rascal.
True, oh true.
So one day, Henry arrived at the door of Portland Pig.
Now let's see, method 1, the continental approach. Yes, I'll simply sweep her off her feet. Romance-wise, that is.
Yes, who is it?
Ah, Sacre Bleu.
What is it?
Your beauty is absolutely breathtaking.
Oh, really?
Ah, chérie, may I entrance?
Well,
Merci beaucoup. Oh, what a charming place you have here. Imported straw. Am I wrong? Am I right?
No! Wait a minute. Who are you?
Allow me to introduce myself, my little pork chop. Count Henry Q. Wolfe. My friends call me Hank. You can call me Hanky.
Well, it looked as if Portland would surely be his victim. He whispered sweet nothings in her ear.
Nothing, 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 and likewise nothing.
He recited poetry to her.
Roses are red, violets are blue. You've a cute little nose, and I do too.
He played the piano. He even showed a keen interest in good books.
Oh, this man has a soul.
Portland seemed most impressed, and Henry, felt that now was the time to pop the question.
Ah, Portland, my petit cochon, will you marry me and make me the rich, happiest man in the world?
Portland's answer came quickly.
No.
Oh, you play the hard to get. I ask you again.
No.
Would you like to think it over till tomorrow? I guess not.
But if you thought this dampened Henry's spirits, you'd be wrong.
Sure, there's still 2 sisters left, you know.
So Henry dashed right over to Penelope's house.
Let's see now, method 2, the caveman approach.
Yes, who is it?
Okay, beautiful, step aside. I'm coming in. Got the place done in early American stick, eh? Nice, I guess. But I'm gonna make a few changes around here, baby.
See here, what do you want?
Just you, that's all, honey bunch. I've made up my mind. You're gonna marry me, baby. How do you like them apples?
Obviously, she didn't like them apples. Now, Henry had only one chance left, and he hurried to Alice's house.
Method 3, the all-out approach. Oh, boy, this one's bound to work.
Yes, what do you...
I love you, I adore you, I worship you, I can't live without you.
Yes, but
Please, please say you'll marry me.
But-
Please, please, please.
Well, all right.
You
but-
said yes. Yes, you said yes. Oh, dear rich Alice, you've made me so wealthy, happy.
But I'm...
No time for buts, my pet. Come, let us fly together now.
Well, they were married immediately, and they set off for a whirlwind honeymoon at Niagara Falls.
Look, Alice, you see all the water?
Yes, but
That's enough. Let's go.
And away they went back home, for the wolf couldn't wait to start living in the big brick mansion.
Ah, this is the life, eh, Alice?
Will you listen to me, loudmouth? I'm not... Cassandra! Cassandra, would you come here, please? Coming, madam.
I thought your name was Alice.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. That's rich Alice Pig in there. I'm Cassandra, her poverty-stricken maid, you silly thing.
Well, mistakes will happen. I'll just...
I'm also your wife, you worm. Get in here.
But Cassandra... Ow! Honey, ow!
Now, of course, every fairy tale must have a happy ending, so naturally, Henry did get to live in the big brick house surrounded by wealth, but not quite in the way that he'd thought.
Yes, sir. Whom shall I say is calling whom? Whom?
And now, here's Bullwinkle's Corner.
Hello, poultry people. Today's gem is called The Barefoot Boy. Curtain. Blessings on thee, little man, barefoot boy with shoes of tan. With thy... Wait up now, you're supposed to be barefoot.
The stones hurt my toes.
Oh, come on now, rock.
Well, okay.
Once more from the top. Blessings on thee, little man, barefoot boy with cheek of tan, with thy rolled up pantaloons and thy merry whistle tune.
Yikes!
That's a merry whistle tune?
No, that's a bear!
Well, you're just ruining the poem.
I can't help that. Here he comes. And he's wearing my shoes. Bye, Bullwinkle.
But how do I finish the poem?
Do it with him.
All right, I just will. So though you give my pal a scare, blessings on thee, boyfoot bear.
And now it's time...
Time for that jolly juggler, Bullwinkle.
Oh, dear.
3 at once. 1, 2,
And now here's a feature you're sure to like.
3.
While the great mass of Canadian people were living with a certain amount of tranquility in the upper lower northwest-east region of Canada, a devilish plan was being hatched by that arch-villain Snidely Whiplash.
A plan, Homer, that will give us complete freedom to do the nasty little things we do.
And they're nasty.
Well, I'm going to print a fake newspaper reporting that I, Snidely Whiplash, am Dudley Do-Right's younger brother.
Younger?
Well, of course, you wouldn't expect me to say I was his older brother, would you? And Dudley, being such a sentimental fool, we'll be able to do all the mischief we want to. That's the Canadian way.
In a short time, Whiplash had put his evil scheme to work.
There, that ought to do the trick.
So Homer, disguised as a newsboy, rode off to the RCMP camp to deliver the paper to Dudley.
Paper, mister?
I say, that was about the ugliest newsboy I've ever seen. I'll just catch a quick look before I give it to the inspector. Always like to see how Renfrew is making out. What? I can't believe it, but it's in the paper. It must be true. Snidely Whiplash found to be Dudley Do-Right's younger brother.
Dudley Do-Right, get in here.
Oh, yes, sir, Inspector, and have I got news. Wait till you hear this, Inspector.
Later, Dudley, what I want to talk to you about is a man so sneaky, deceitful, and downright rotten that it disgusts me to mention his name. You know who that man is, Do-Right?
Is it Sandy Simpson who runs that shady ice cream parlor? I saw him the other day, sir.
Of course it isn't Simpson. It's Snidely Whiplash.
You mean that clean-cut chap?
Are you feeling all right, Dudley?
Straightforward eyes, a firm chin, and just a hint of dimples around his cupid bow mouth?
That's enough, Dudley. I want you to bring that sneaky snake in, do you hear? And on the double.
The next day, Snidely was preparing to blow up the hotel when...
Baby brother!
Oh, hiya, Dudley.
Oh, you naughty boy. I don't know how to tell you this, but blowing up hotels isn't worthy of a do-right. You see, besides being your big brother, I'm also a Canadian Mountie. So you see, I have to take you to see Inspector Fenwick.
You did it, Dudley. You brought in that loathsome, repulsive, obnoxious...
Now, just a doggone minute there. Sir, I won't have you talking about my baby brother that way.
Your what?
Go on, kick him, beat him. Don't you realize that all his life he's been kicked and beaten emotionally? And it's all my fault.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I'm quitting the force, Inspector, because I've learned blood is thicker than water.
So Dudley decided to give Snidely the one thing he'd been denied in his childhood, mother love. First, he dressed him in a Lord Fauntleroy suit.
Now we'll have to do something about this shack. There now, did you wash behind your ears? Let me see.
Come on now, Dudley, a joke's a joke.
All right, you can run out and play, but remember, I'll be watching you, and if I see you with that awful Homer boy, you'll have to stay indoors for a week. And no Winnie the Pooh.
Whoa-wee.
Hey, Snidely.
You remember what happened the last time Dudley saw us together?
Yeah, you had to stay indoors for a week.
Yeah, and no Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, he's a regular Dr. Sprock.
I'd have been better off in a stockade. There must be a way out of this.
Whom are you talking to whom, baby brother?
Nobody, big brother Dudley. Listen, Homer, you've got to print a retraction. Say the whole thing was a mistake, that I'm not his brother after all. It's the only way out of this mess.
Okay, baby.
And don't call me baby brother.
Ah, the evening paper. Just see how Renfrew's getting along.
Aren't you going to read the front page, Dudley?
Oh, no, I've stopped reading the front page. Those headlines are too depressing.
Curses foiled again.
But realizing that the RCMP camp could no longer do without Dudley Do-Right, the inspector's daughter Nell went to see Dudley and try to bring him back.
Dudley Do-Right, the whole RCMP camp misses you. Why don't you come back?
How can I, Nell? I've got responsibilities, but you could do one thing for me.
What is that?
Give my horse these lumps of sugar. Here, I'll wrap them in this paper.
But as Dudley started to rap, he started to read.
Snidely Whiplash and Dudley Do-Right are not brothers. Then I've been the victim of a ghastly hoax. Ooh, that does rouse my ire.
His ire roused, he waited for Snidely.
Big brother Dudley.
And so, Inspector, it turned out Snidely Whiplash wasn't my brother after all.
Well, did you bring in Snidely Whiplash?
Not entirely, Inspector, but I did bring part of him.
What part?
His mustache.
Well, Homer, I lost a big brother, but I also lost most of my upper lip.
You look terrible, boss.
Yeah, but you know something?
What?
It was worth it.
Well, our boys have managed to get themselves into double trouble as they dangle from a rope below Mount Flatten, the floating mountain. Not only is a fast plane zooming right at them, but far above, Boris Badenoff is preparing to cut the rope, watched closely by his shadowy superior, Mr. Big.
Why are you hesitating, Boris?
Just wondering whether to cut all at once or little by little.
Oh, little by little, to be sure. The fun lasts longer.
So Boris just lightly nicked the outside of the rope, then watched gleefully as the strands broke one by one.
Delightful, isn't it?
Oh, Mr. Big, you really know how to live.
But at the other end of the rope, our heroes had more immediate problems to worry about.
Hey, that plane's getting closer, Rock.
Hang on, Bullwinkle!
And the speeding jet roared by right underneath them.
Well, thank goodness that's over.
Not quite, Bullwinkle. He's turning.
Sure enough, the plane reversed itself and headed back for them upside down.
I wonder who's in that plane.
Search me, but it's somebody who don't know upside down from right side up.
That could only be one person I know of.
Captain Peach Fuzz.
But he's a close friend.
Too close if you ask me. He'll hit us next time.
Well, maybe I can stop him!
And Rocky launched himself through the air after the jet plane. As far above, the rope drew nearer and nearer to the breaking point. Slowly, the flying squirrel drew abreast of the roaring jet and soon saw the reason for its strange actions. The pilot was indeed Captain Peter Wrongway Peach Fuzz.
Golly, he's headed for Bullwinkle again!
Rocky, dear boy, why are you flying upside down?
I'm not upside down! You are!
Oh, well, give me a hand, Rocky.
With a final burst of speed, Rocky flew right into the pilot's compartment of the hurtling jet and took over the control of the plane just in time.
Boy, that was a near thing. But anyway, Bullwinkle is safe at last.
Well, even Rocky can be wrong, for at that moment, at the top of the mine shaft, the rope parted.
Delightful. Thank you for an enjoyable 3 minutes, Badinov.
Any time, boss man.
Down and down fell the miserable moose, still clinging to the now useless rope.
It's not much, but it's all I got.
But at that moment, Rocky's sharp eyes spotted his plummeting figure.
Bullwinkle!
And Rocky aimed the jet right at his pal. Downward it flashed faster and faster and finally caught up with the moose.
Bullwinkle, grab onto the tail!
Right, Rock.
Meanwhile, far above them, Boris was still basking in the approval of his superior.
Badinov, you're a no-good, double-crossing scoundrel.
Please, Mr. Big, you'll have me blushing in a minute.
And in recognition of your services, I'm going to give you a little something.
Boris, darling, Moose has been saved by Squirrel.
You interrupting, Natasha. Yes, Mr. Big. What were you going to give me?
I'm going to give you 5 minutes to get rid of that moose and squirrel, you bungler!
And the mysterious shadow disappeared from view.
Okay, Miss Big Mouth. How you know they've been saved?
Look down there.
But when Boris looked down the shaft, he seemed strangely delighted.
Look, Hannibal.
Sure enough, the jet plane was still roaring earthward, with Bullwinkle clinging to the tail.
Don't you think you ought to pull out now, Rock?
Bullwinkle, I am, but nothing's happening.
And Rocky tugged vainly on the plane steering column as the jet flashed lower and lower. Don't miss our next fun-filled episode.
Fun-filled?
Jet Jockey Rocky or the One-Point Landing.
Well, it looks as if our time has just about run out.
Just enough left to tell him who the sponsor was.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop.
We're late again, Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.